All right, welcome back to Moms on a Mission. We are going to be starting a new series today. We're going to do some mini-sodes, which I'm super excited about because we usually have big, long talks, and which are awesome. But today we're going to try something new and fresh. And for those folks that want to listen to us, but maybe don't have an hour of time in their car or whatever that may be. So these are going to be shorter episodes. We're just going to hit on little topics, and we're going to actually start a series this week called The Wise Woman Builds Her Home. So these will be like some biblical truths, just little snippets that you can apply in your daily life that comes straight from Scripture that we as moms and we as women can, just kind of keep in the back of our mind to apply to our everyday walks.
Yeah.
So that, just kind of keep it in our heart and in our minds and, kind of leveling up our scripture and our walk, our faith walk.
Yeah. And just kind of getting back to the root of why we started this whole thing in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Not that we have veered away from it. I wouldn't say that. I think we've tried to stay, scripturally rooted in all of our episodes. But just to kind of get back to the basics.
Yeah, totally. And I've talked to some, I feel like I've had some conversations and I've started to kind of realize too, like, there's a lot of places you can get information. You can watch YouTube videos, there's podcasts, there's, all of these different things. But when you have sought out something Christian based, Bible based, things like that, like that's really like the area that you were really trying to work on and focus on.
Yeah.
And I know that's like why me and you started this too, of like really Christian, Bible based motherhood, womanhood, things like that. So,
Yep.
I love that. We're getting back to the basics.
Yep. Let's start there.
Love it.
And I love that you are wanting to start with the wise woman builds her home, because I can't think of a better place to start.
Yeah, I'm reading a lot about right now in my like 1 year Bible plan.
Which, pause. If you don't follow Amanda on social media, she made it to 100
Yes!
consecutive days.
Woo!
Yay!
First time ever. Laura was my inspiration for even attempting this.
Because you can do hard things.
Yes, and I have tried it. This is my third time trying to read through the Bible.
You know what they say about a third time?
It's the charm.
It's the charm.
My
Yeah.
fingers crossed. I'm in Deuteronomy right now, so
Just stick with it. Just you got to stick it out, until, and I've said this, and I don't think that this plan is exactly the same, but doing the Bible recap, you literally were in the Old Testament for 9 months.
Yes.
Before you ever got to the New Testament.
I learned a lot from Bible recap, but I struggled with that intensity of Old Testament. It really brought up more questions and answers for me.
Yeah.
And I did not like that questioning. I didn't like myself questioning everything. And every time I would finish reading, and again, I think it's because I never made it all the way through,
Yeah.
I would be a little upset that I had so many questions. I was like, I don't get this, Lord, you know? And I didn't like feeling that way. The plan I'm doing now is the one that our church is doing.
Much easier reading.
Yes, because you're going through Old Testament, but you also go through New Testament.
Yes.
If you're not looking at it, it can sound a little confusing if you're just listening, but I have found it a much easier read because I'm getting my Old Testament in, but then I get to switch over to New Testament and get a little bit more of, what I connect with.
Yes,
more.
and you don't have to wait so long to get it.
Yes.
It's kind of been a part of it almost every day so far. And so I think it breaks up the monotony of it.
It does.
And it makes
you get Psalms or Proverbs as well.
Yeah.
You do Old Testament, New Testament, and then you either do Psalms or Proverbs right now. So
it's perfect.
Yeah, it's a good mix. It's a lot easier read.
It is a good mix. I find this to be a much easier read as well.
Yeah. So that was kind of where, where we're at with this. In the readings, we've been touched on wisdom a lot. And that's one of my favorite actual biblical principles that I've always wanted to kind of really learn, Solomon's wisdom and different things like that. So I thought this, I love that we're going to be able to start here too. I think it's a great place to really just apply some really quick, easy scripture readings and truths to our everyday life.
Yep, because I don't even know if you know this, but many years ago when Josh and I were building our real estate company, I thought, well, I'm gonna put scripture on our business cards,
Love it.
and so I put Proverbs 24:3 and 4. Through built a home is built through wisdom, but through understanding it is established.
Ooh.
And so that one's always kind of been close to my heart. I don't feel like it's a very popular verse.
No, I don't know that I've really
No?
heard it. Oh yeah, I've heard that one before.
Proverbs 24:3 and 4 is I think what we used. But yeah, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established.
I love it.
And so I just thought, that's what will not be a life verse, but like a business verse.
Yeah, totally. A really great place to land to as the foundation of your business.
Yes.
Really, really good. I love that.
And so that's what we've rolled with. And I think that, the wisdom aspect, because there's not a story, there's an account in the Bible. I don't remember the exact details. But when someone was asked what exactly it was, like they could be granted anything. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Was it, I think it was with Solomon.
Yes. Oh, yes. And no, I don't think maybe it was. I can't remember. I think it was one of the kings, right? And it may have been Solomon, because he was asked what he would be granted, and instead of asking for money, possessions, land,
he could have anything they wanted.
He wanted wisdom.
Yep.
Because he knew that if he had wisdom, he could get all the other things he wanted, but he needed wisdom around him and through him.
Yep. And so that's always stuck out to me.
Yes, same. That's always what I've loved about it.
Not that I can recall all the details in this very moment, but the fact that he requested wisdom.
Yep. I know. I have always loved that too. I'm like, absolutely. With wisdom and wise people around you, your wise counsel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to do all those other things.
Yep. So, how powerful.
Yep. Well, I think this is a really great segue into our actual meat of the episode. Do you want to kick off with a quick prayer?
I can. Hold on, stop. Do you want to pray before all of the minisodes, or do you want to do you pray and then do multiple of these?
Well, I think doing them as truly separate episodes is a good idea. Do you think we need to do an opening prayer? Kind of adds time when we're really going through scripture anyway.
Yeah, good idea. I think you go over the concept and then end with a short prayer to wrap it up.
Okay.
In the conversation.
Just do it in opposite order.
Yeah, I like that.
If you want to. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything put together. I'll just be like, hey, take today's scripture and apply it to our hearts and our
yeah.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if we were gonna stop and go, okay, give Daniel a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is the second minisode.
Yeah, I think they really should be truly broken up. That way, it gives us tons of content abilities.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think this is a great segue into the meat of the episode.
Yes.
So kind of opening up episode 1, I have on my notes. The wise woman builds her home. So and kind of the idea behind this is have you ever walked into your home and you just you can feel the tone? You can tell if it's peaceful, or you can tell if there is mass chaos about.
Yeah.
This actually reminds me of this really quick little video I saw the other day. I was almost in tears laughing at it. This woman, you may have seen it because I think it's a viral video right now. She's sitting in her car and she's wearing sunglasses. She's super put together, really super cute. And she's like, can you imagine how bored my husband would be if he came home to the same version of me every day?
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I get it. Yeah.
She goes on and on about how boring that would be, and who wants consistency in the same type of person every day. It's all in satire, and it is so funny because I feel that way for my poor husband.
I feel like mine gets pretty consistent. But that I was listening to something recently too, and I have to give all the kudos to he's a pastor, but his wife was the one that stopped him, pulled him aside, and said, "Hey, you're being pulled in many different directions with all of these speaking engagements and things that you have committed to,
Mm-hmm.
and which is fine. I respect, your mission is to make disciples, and you are carrying that out.
Yeah.
But when you're coming through the door, peace is not coming with you.
Mm.
And he was like, I couldn't get mad because she was telling me this. She was telling me this from her heart. And so I had to reevaluate that, it's imperative that I walk through the door of my home to my family, where my first ministry is,
Yep.
and that peace follows me there.
That's a really great thought for husbands and dads, of like, because it is super easy to bring that stuff home and, continue to carry that on your back, whether it's you got into an argument with somebody, or you're still dealing with this thing. The text messages are still coming through. It's after work, but you're still, you might be off, but the guys on the job site are still there. And
Yeah.
that is really easy to continue to just carry on and bring home. So that I love that thought. And then for us ladies at home, and our husbands were very clear about this. That's one of the most important things to them, is to walk into something that is not a world of chaos when they get in the door. And that doesn't mean, kids aren't fighting or whatever. It's really nice when they're not, but that
rare.
is,
And rare.
Yeah. Yes. No kidding. But that also means it's coming from us as well. Like we set the tone when they get home, hey, how are you? How was your day? We've got some peace within our relationship when they get home, instead of like, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, because I thought Josh made a good point when he was talking about it, and he was like, really, peace is not something that I can go out and purchase.
Yes, I know. I love that.
Unfortunately, there are other things, and they happen,
Mm-hmm.
and it drives a wedge in family dynamics and all these other things. But he was like, that's the one thing that I can't go out and buy
Yep.
and replace or bring. You bring it, and it's kind of solely falls on my shoulders when he's the one walking into the house. And I get that, and I'm totally fine with it. I love that this woman in particular said to her husband, who is, he's a high profile preacher,
Mm-hmm.
but she had, the audacity and the freedom, maybe not audacity, had the freedom to be able to look at him and go, hey,
Yeah.
you're not bringing this in here with you.
Yeah.
And he said on the rest of his episode that, what he sat down and did, and where he could see where he was going wrong, was that he was prioritizing his schedule instead of scheduling his priorities.
Mm.
And so he said, I sat down, we were very intentional. We went over everything, and I, totally flip-flop those two,
Mm-hmm.
and game changer.
That's awesome.
So
that's a really, really good thought of, really kind of understanding how to do that. That's a great tip, because we all understand what we should be prioritizing. Yes, family should be the priority. Yes, we're ministers at home, but how though, when you do have calls coming in, when you have had a bad day, how do you really flip the script and make a true change? Really choosing your priorities and making sure that those can stop at a certain time.
Yes.
That's a really, really great tip.
Yep.
So the scripture that this whole episode is based on is Proverbs 14:1. Proverbs 14:1 says, "The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, the foolish one tears hers down."
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about, having a perfect home. It's just about being aware of the feeling that you're providing, the calmness, the peace, the place of refuge that you are attempting to create for your family.
Because I've tried to tell the boys, all of them, the way in which you say something and the tone in which you deliver it are two totally different things. Your tone can make or break.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, that's what you're trying to get at here with, you reference, it's not about perfection. Every word that we speak, every reaction that we have, every moment of patience or impatience, you're either building something up or you're slowly tearing something down.
Yeah.
And I don't think that could be more accurate than, yeah, your words are important, but I really think the way that you say them makes all the difference.
Especially for women. I mean, if you're, from a guy's perspective, when you're talking to us, that matters to us way more than I think it matters to them. Of course, if we're snappy and short and, just cut off, then yes, of course, that's going to affect the way they take things too. But for us, I think it's much more sensitive than, because Matt will try to like give me instructions about something, or even if he's like trying to teach the kids something. And I'm like, why are you talking like that? He has no idea about this. I mean, you're teaching him. He's like, I am teaching him. What are you talking about? I'm like, you're being so short and snappy. Like, he should already know. And he's like, no, I'm not.
You're being short and snappy.
Yeah. I'm like, and honestly, the kids don't really take it that way either. They're trying to listen and learn. But for me, I'm like, I need the, like, okay, let's try it this way.
Yeah, I need the watered down, sweet, virgin.
Yes, like, don't talk to me like I'm an idiot, but he's not. It's just, that's how I took it.
Yeah,
like, I think we're
perceived totally differently. Yeah.
Yes. So, like, how do we apply this? So, oh boy, this is point number 1, the way you respond when your child disobeys. Oh boy. I had a moment yesterday. We've talked about this.
I had one this morning.
Psycho mom.
She made an appearance.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Skirt, pulled the car over to the side of the road so I could look that little boy in the eye to threaten him and say mean stuff to him. So I couldn't even look through the mirror. I wanted to be face to face.
You're going to see me up close and personal.
I lost it. This was a 2-day feeling of me feeling like he was being disrespectful to me and his dad. Little commentary, peanut gallery style, comments about me being on time and the way I'm driving and needing my cell phone right away while I've got 4 things going on and I'm trying to drive.
4 million.
Yeah. The phone was doing 4 things at a time and I'm trying to drive. He's like, I need your phone. I need the phone. I lost it. I pulled over, had to look him face to face, threaten his life and a beating. Like, not a proud moment.
Not my most shining
no,
display
and I
of
used
Christianity.
Some choice words were used. Not a good, I did not control my anger at that moment. And I was not proud of that. But, sometimes you have that kid that, like, that's all they respond to, unfortunately. But almost, and not because he's like, oh, I better straighten up.
Yeah.
It's because he's like, she's losing it, and then
that makes me even more mad if we're just being honest.
Yes. Oh, totally. Then I'm like tyrant stage.
Yeah, and I'm extra irritated.
Mm-hmm. So yes, this all, but they see this as well, and I don't ever want to give permission for this because it's not okay. I'm not saying I did the right thing, and I don't want him to feel as if he can respond that way. So applying, this scripture, the wise woman builds her house. The way we respond to when children disobey, the tone that we use with our husband, the atmosphere we create in those stressful moments, that is where this can be applied. And the kind of quote here is this is less about what we do and more about how we show up or are present in that very moment.
Yeah.
We fail sometimes.
We do.
Like me.
We do. And I know you said your moment has already come and gone. Mine will occur later.
Yeah.
Disobedience. And like I told you, one of the most powerful lines that has resonated with me for weeks now is when Pastor Chad said that partial obedience is still disobedience. And so that's one that I've really tried to drive home with the boys over the last couple of weeks with various situations.
Mm-hmm.
And in some things, they're great. This was a phone issue.
Yeah.
And it was an issue in and of itself, but how it occurred was the bigger issue.
Yeah.
And so now my son is at school right now, so I've had all day to think about this. In the moment, I probably would have handled it much differently. I probably would have blown up, been angry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not sure exactly how I'm going to go about it. But the disobedience, it really gets under my skin.
Yeah.
Like there's just no reason for it, especially as many times as we try to drive it home, how important it is to obey. And that there are certain rules and things that we have in place in this house And I know, and I tell them this. I said, boys, I know that you're not going to love these things. I'm aware.
Yep.
However, your job is to obey us and to follow the rules.
Yeah.
Whether you like them or not.
Yep.
This is just what you have to do right now and in this season. And how well you do these is going to determine so many things down the road.
Yeah.
That, and I understand they don't get that concept yet. Because it's a big umbrella.
Yeah.
But my son will be a teenager next week, which is really weird to say out loud.
Well, and that's where the pain point is.
Yeah.
Because as teenagers, once you get over that cusp,
yeah,
if everything becomes just a little bit harder for the discipline, what you can and cannot do, the permissions to do things. So right now, you guys are walking into this teenage stage where there's been some trust broken.
Yeah.
And that especially, I know it doesn't make a huge difference, but really, like us being like shorty mamas, like the fear has to be there. Like, and they have to know that we are going to know these things. Like, anything sneaky or things that have gone on, like, we have to figure out ways to actually know those things because they can't go through thinking, what is she gonna do?
Yeah.
I do not envy your position because that's a hard one.
No, your time is coming. Unfortunately, mine is upon us.
Yeah. He didn't do anything bad. It was just an unwise decision. So now, like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
What is the suitable punishment to make it hurt but not punish ourselves at the same time?
Right. Yeah. And no, it could have been way worse. He was on the phone after midnight, texting his buddy that he was, watching his favorite TV show, at 1:00 in the morning, but
that phones aren't supposed to be used.
Right. That part is harmless. He didn't have internet access. It was nothing like that.
Yeah.
Watching our show after midnight. And Josh made the point that he came home from school. He did take a nap yesterday afternoon. So
teenage nap times.
Yes. And that I didn't let him sleep for a long time though, knowing that it would affect sleep overnight.
Oh, yeah. So he was like up because he'd gotten some sleep. Yeah.
And so that's fine. I understand the difficulty in taking an afternoon nap and then going, to sleep just a few hours after that.
Yeah.
All of that harmless. The fact of the matter was that there was a telephone in a bedroom, which is a absolute never ever.
Yeah.
Especially at night. But a phone in the bedroom and, sending a text message to his buddy who obviously was asleep because his buddy's phone goes into his parents' bedroom at night.
Oh.
Which is one of their rules, which is fine. I mean, it's one of ours too. Obviously, it wasn't in our room. But she looked at it first thing this morning and she let me know after I dropped them off because she saw that there was a message from him at a very strange hour and was actually checking to make sure that everything was okay.
Yeah.
Safety first and foremost. And then was like, oh, he was just sending a silly video because he was watching a show after midnight. But I respect her for reaching out and going, hey, I know what your family's phone rules are.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that they were broken on my son's end.
Yeah.
Again, it was all completely harmless content and everything. It was the principle.
Right.
And the fact of the matter was when we use an RO box, which I know we've talked about before, but an RO box is amazing. It charges them at night. His old cell phone case was in the RO box. So when I opened it up, it looked like there was a phone in there.
Yeah.
And there, in fact, was not. And so that is what you were alluding to, like the distrust, the sneakiness.
Yeah.
And that's where I had the problem.
Yeah.
Of breaking the rules.
Yeah, that's the trust barrier. We had this conversation at our house just recently too. Like, there's, you can make. We all have to decide and figure out what are wise choices, what are unwise choices. Disobedience is unwise. It's not a good idea. But there is another threshold. If you're sneaking around, if you're telling stories, you're telling me a lie, even a little lie is still a lie.
Yeah.
That's there's a trust barrier that you are going to break. You're going to lose my trust if I cannot trust you to say, or do things that you're supposed to be doing, and you try to, do things.
Skirt your way around it.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. So, and everybody makes these mistakes, and, it's just,
It's a learning curve, and I get that. And
is.
but I'm so anti-phone anyways.
I know.
We've really tried to go with usage of it specifically for emergencies only.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's no emergency to send your buddy a text message at 2:00 in the morning telling him you're watching
Emergency!
TV.
I really love this show.
So that's just different. And I know that he's almost 13, and all of his buddies, they have phones, and most of them have them with, much more loose parameters. But we're not doing that. We're not going that route.
Yeah. Well, and I think, this is perfect application. So how do we apply this? How do we apply this scripture? Again, the scripture is Proverbs 14:1. The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, the foolish one tears hers down. So how do we apply this week? What's our weekly challenge, if you will? Before you respond this week, pause and ask, am I building or am I tearing down?
That's perfect.
It's perfect. And maybe we can get a follow-up and see how this whole thing went and how you decided
we will.
how you decided to live out this disciplinary action. Because of course, through discipline, we want to teach them things. We want to build them up, show them, hey, this is not the way to live, man. You don't want to be sneaking around. You don't want to be doing stuff, you're not supposed to be doing. So
not wise.
Yep. Yes. So there you go, mamas. Before you respond this week, pause and ask, are you building your house or are you tearing it down with your own two hands?
Yep.
So, all right, guys, this is the end of our first mini episode.
Our Minisode.
Yes, super exciting. We hope you guys enjoy this content. If you do, please leave us some comments, some feedback. We would love to hear it. As you know, we do nothing without our amazing what are you called? A producer?
Producer Daniel.
Well, the name was in there, just not the word. Stay Stoked Creative Co. You can find out more about him in the show notes below. And as you know, we have a goal this year. 10,000 subs on YouTube this year is what we want to hit. So if you are not subscribed, please do so below so you get notifications every time we upload a video. And last but not least, we would love to give you a resource with this. So we actually created a little PDF guide for just a little reminder of hey, these are some super simple, just thought patterns to have with our Wise Woman series. So there's a little PDF below. You can click on that. It should take you to a link tree. You'll be able to upload the PDF. And it's just a quick little reminder of the scripture and the note of what is the key takeaway and the application. So we hope you guys enjoy that, and we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you guys. Be blessed.
See ya.